is Kristin Petersen, and today we are going to be making this cute little paintbrush art doll. So let me show you what the scoop is. So I just bought, a little cheap paintbrushes from our local hardware store, and mine is 2-inch. So this will be my base that we'll be using. And one of the first things that I had to do was to find a little wing pattern for me to use. The other thing, since I already made one that I know, I'm actually going to use this is just like a cereal box for my template for the wings, because we would need it to have a little bit of support. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut this out here quick. Doesn't have to be exact. We just need the general shape here. The other thing that I learned that I liked was to actually mount the wings onto book paper. I had originally used an art pop card, but because I ended up doing something a little different, I'm just going to share my wisdom with you so that you know up front what the scoop is. So I will put the glue on the colored side here so that the back side is just the regular cardboard. Now, the other thing I learned from my first one was I had originally kind of put little grommets in to hold my wire, and I'm just going to warn you, so when I actually went to put this one to get it all wired up, this one was really close, so I'm actually going to have to go back and repair this little wing. I don't know if you can see that, but I was too close to the edge here. This one was a little bit better, but I just want to warn you on getting too close to the edge, just to make sure that you don't run into that same issue. So when I put my grommets in, I'm actually going to move them down just a little bit so that I don't run into that same issue again. So I'm just going to use little black ones. But it really doesn't matter which color you use. Whatever works for whatever your kind of theme or motto or color, whatever works will be just fine. So now, before I get too far ahead of myself, I want to make sure that we go back and kind of put our little signature onto the wings as well. So to do that, I'm actually going to use, this is one of Tracy Batista's new stencils, and I'm just going to use, my favorite of course is Payne's Gray. Black I think is too black, so I'm just going to put a little smidge of Payne's Gray onto a scrap piece, and then use a little roller and paint our wings here. So I'm just going to actually kind of line this up. Long hair again doesn't have to be perfect. We just want to get our wings painted and get that effect. So, ooh, hold on tight, apparently. Perfect. Then we will let those dry, and then once they're dried, then I'll put the little grommets in. So in the meantime, we'll let those do their little thing, and we'll put the grommets in. So I'm going to dry these quick. Alrighty. Now we'll go ahead, I'm going to go ahead and put my little grommet in. See that okay? That'll be how that'll look. I'm just going to go ahead and do my little pounding here. Looks good. That's how my back looks. Go ahead and do this other one. Alrighty. Now our little second one's all ready to go. And I've got my little Sprite. Just use my little Stays On ink here. Perfect. Now to put a little color onto her cheeks and to give her a little color, I am going to just use my little watercolor crayons. They're the little Neo color. So these are a couple of my favorites. I like the little pink. Let me see. It just says purple, but I've ripped some of the paper off. So I'm just going to scribble these off though. I don't like using the crayons directly on the pieces that I'm using or doing. So I normally kind of scribble off sections here. You can see what I've put down. And then I'll just grab a small paintbrush and actually paint onto my stamped image. So I'm just gonna, so I've got just a small paintbrush, wet. I'm just gonna come in, put a little color onto her lips here. So we'll dry this here just a little bit, and then I'm going to show you, we're just going to go back over it just a little bit and touch it up with a black ink pen. I just want you to kind of see how she looks now. And I'm going to dry her a little bit, and then I'll show you what we're going to do. So once she's dry, I normally like to kind of go back in and just kind of add a little bit more to the face here. So I'm just going to use, and this is, you know, a Bic black ink pen, nothing fancy. So I'm just going to kind of color in just to make sure some of the details that I want to pop on her face are definitely going to come through okay. I normally maybe add a smidge to the lips, and then probably around the eyes is the other thing. So and even kind of maybe coloring in a little bit on the side. This is just going to give your, Art Pop doll a little bit more of you. So make some marks, do some stuff, make her your own, use whatever color speaks to you. Nothing too fancy, but you can just see how the eyes pop just a little bit more with a little extra black ink on the top. I kind of like the little edge colored in and the little stripes down on her neck. So then I'm just going to cut this out. And again, we're going to mount this onto our little cereal box. So I'm going to cut closely. I'm not going to cut right to the, the edge of the stamp. You could basically use, any of the colorful cards in here. This one would be really good. On my first one, I used the blue, and I liked that really well. I'm actually going to be using a little extra spine from an old book that basically is falling apart. I'll just cut this down, and this is what will make her body. So when I'm doing this, we're actually going to kind of make her skirt. Let me show you. So this is the part that I'm talking about here. Is kind of, this is my book spine and a little leaf there, but what I'm going to use now, or what we're going to use the Art Pops card, is to make this little skirt. So I may stay with the blue. I don't know, we should do a different one here. I'm thinking maybe we should do, I kind of like this one. So, but figure out which one you want to use, and then we will stamp on it to make our skirt. So, and again, so I just got it mounted. I'm just going to use my little stays on here again. And because I'm kind of a polka dot person, I'm going to try to catch a little bit more maybe of this edge along here when I do my stamping. So I don't know if you can hear my little kitty in the background. Normally she's talking because she wants to be in here, and today she's just talking because we're here. So all right, so now I'm just going to cut this out so we can make our skirt. Part of it is making sure that I'm going to kind of catch the full width of the paintbrush. And just kind of follow the general shape of the stamp. So I'm just going to kind of go like this. And trim that out. And again, to me, you might maybe saying, well, it doesn't even look even, Kristin. Well, nope, it probably isn't even. But again, I am not worried about it at all. I kind of love the little quirkiness. So to me, no problem. So I kind of like it with the little edge that comes down. And again, this will cover kind of the bulk of our paintbrush. So that'll be good. Now, when I went to stick this down, I've got a couple different glues. So I do have like a soft gel matte medium. This is a little bit more heavy bodied glue, only for the fact that, our Art Pop card is going to be a little bit heavier, and I want to definitely make sure that this piece isn't going to come off. So we're not going to use our Elmers. We're going to break out kind of the bigger stuff. So I kind of like having the stamp run true to the paintbrush, but not having the paper. So I'm just gonna kind of hold that for a moment and let it kind of do its thing. And we can wipe off a little bit of our excess glue here. And I may bend that just a little bit. I just want to make sure that we're getting it down really well. So now the other thing I did with the first one was to kind of give her a little bit of a hat. I'm pretty certain that I used one of the corners, so I may cut back around and see if we can't get a little coordinating hat for this little gal. So let's see here. So what we can do, if you want to kind of get your hat right, so this is my stamp. Instead of actually stamping it on, I'm going to just hold it onto my paper and then kind of cut around just to give me kind of a general shape. Came down. We can always trim this a little bit more as we need to. So we'll see if this will fit at all. So I'm gonna trim this edge here. Pretty tall up there. I kind of like that. So I'll go ahead and glue this on here. And then I'll show you what we're going to do. So if you're worried about how the hat is looking and it's going to cover up a little bit of your stamp, that's okay. We're gonna come back with that little black ink pen and add just a few more details. So, oops. Gotta line it up though with your paper, however. So. Okay. So I'm going to just add a few little details. Just putting like little polka dots up here along the top. And I'm gonna draw right over my art pop here and connect this eye out to where it's supposed to be. And pull that in so that it kind of pulls that whole piece across. You can kind of see that goes all the way out, but will kind of help tie together her skirt with her little hat, so, and add a little pop of color. So now we want to kind of look and see. Like I said, I have a little piece of book binding. Now, if I would have been doing a little better planning, you could almost just get by with that. And I kind of like, that. I may not use as much of this as I had planned, Maybe we just need like a little collar for her. This is a lot of stuff here. So some of this is just experimenting and playing. You know, use stuff that you have in your studio or hanging out that maybe you haven't had the chance to use. And kind of play and see, you know, what do you like? I don't know about these. I like them, but I don't. I wish you could voice your opinion. You tell me, huh? Let me cut. No, I don't want to cut one side off until I know for sure. Well, for now, let's go ahead and put my head on. It's really just about, you know, tying your little body to the head and making sure that the neck and everything kind of piece all together. I like that really well. So we could go with that. Wish that were just a little. Ooh, that's kind of cute, huh? Maybe we'll do that. So this is a little, I don't even know, a little gem thing found in one of my drawers. And I'm going to use Aleene's glue, craft glue, for this, just because this is a little bit bigger and I just want to make sure that this sticks. Just hold that for a moment. Now, oh yeah, I like her. She's pretty cute. So now, kind of back to the wings here. They look fine. I'm not going to say, you know, that you need to do anything else with them. But I kind of like to draw on stuff a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and, you know, draw my lines maybe around the painted area. It doesn't have to be perfect. This is just going to add just a little bit more detail to our wing. And like I said, if you're over or not straight, I think the whole purpose is just to add a little bit more detail, and not that they're going to be super realistic, but certainly be kind of fun and make people kind of want to look at them a little closer and actually see what you got going on here. Now, when you go to glue the wings on, I for sure would use the Aleene's glue with that. And it's really about, you know, mounting the wings wherever looks good with your doll. And I even kind of like them offset here just a little bit. So I'm going to glue them on the back. You need to really let the Aleene's glue dry well, however, before you add your wire. So I would let this sit, I let mine sit overnight before I added my wire. So we'll just put a little glue on my wings if I can get it there. Oh, there we go. Little dab, can you see? But now I'm just going to let her dry overnight, and then you can add, you know, whatever type of wire you'd want. If you want to add like a little, you know, gem or a charm onto the wire, that would be great too. But she's got to dry really well before you add your wire. This was my other sample that I finished as I did a trial run to make sure everything was going to work okay. Like I said, I had used the Art Pops card for my wings the first time, but then especially with my little book binding that I used, it was kind of a neutral, and the wings I really thought at that time, I mean, I had picked really color, you know, one of the really colorful ones. So I decided I'd covered them in book paper, and I liked that better. So it was just a personal choice. I mean, had I known, I would have used just my cereal box for the wings the first time. So that's why I made that choice this time. I like the book paper. I like the contrast with the book paper and the colorful, you know, skirt or dress that we put on her. And maybe part of it is, you know, with the brushes, you know, it kind of balance out some of that neutral. But it's really whatever you guys like. So again, just kind of play around, see what you like. I did add a charm to this one. You know, sometimes a lot of things that are in my studio are kind of a one time. I have one of these and none of those. So just kind of look around. Nothing has to match, or, you know, it can be mix and match. But something kind of fun. They'd be great if you've got a friend or gift. These would be perfect for something like that, something that's handmade and a little personal. And then, like I said, add your little wire. You can put a little charm on it, or, you know, add extra little pieces, do loop-de-loops in it. But just be careful so that you don't get too close to your wing, so you don't have a broken wing. Anyway, thank you so much for watching.